hates these fucking tires. One, two, three.
What's up, guys? This is the follow-up video to the original XMR 850 drag pull video I did back in December. I have since installed the XMR 1000 clutch weights into my G3 Outlander, and it makes a big difference in acceleration. I'm going to show you that using data. So I've got a Draggy here doing a bunch of 0 to 60 eighth mile pulls. Very cool data. There's also a CFMOTO 1000 in here. This is not the latest CFMOTO 1000, it's 2024, so it's a few horsepower short, but it did very good. It was very quick. So in this video, I'm going to show you some drag pulls, then I'm going to show you the Draggy screenshots of our best runs, and then I'll show you at the very end an Excel chart with all the results tallied up, averaged, and compared, and all that stuff. So if you want to just see the results, skip to the end of the video. So obviously that CFMOTO has a lot of Can-Am derived parts to it. Trailing arm suspension, big V-twin. So my goal with this thing is to do a couple 0 to 60s both ways, kind of establish a good baseline for that. And then we're gonna put the GPS on those two. Well, he can't do 60, so we'll probably put the GPS on the CFMOTO at some point, see what it does. All right, Richard, do you wanna call it?
1, 2, 3.
That was a good warm-up run. I got a pretty bad start. I wheelied too much. So I'm gonna kind of roll on the throttle a little smoother this time.
2, 3, go!
I'm topped out at 76 miles an hour. CFMOTO 1000 Overland's topping out at 78 miles per hour.
That's what it says.
Yeah, I mean, I have the GPS in here. All right, now we're gonna do it again, but I'm gonna put the GPS in the CFMOTO. So, just go as fast as you can go, and I'll try to tail you.
0 to 60,
Yeah, yep. Go like 0 to 65, just to make sure we get the full window. All right.
1, 2, 3.
Go.
One, two, three.
Hello, this is on 29-inch mud tires. I can definitely pretty handily keep up with that 1000. I let him get ahead of me there for a second. I caught him back up, and I could kind of play with it.
77 that time.
That was pretty good. Yeah, so mine was saying like 74, I think, at your top speed. To me, top speed on quads is pretty irrelevant, but someone's going to ask this. The top speed on the dash with the G3 XMR 850 is 76 miles per hour. I have verified that's pretty accurate with a GPS and a Draggy. It's really about 74 miles per hour, which is nuts for a factory quad on mud tires. That CFMOTO 1000 Touring, though, or Overland, its dash is off pretty far. It was saying 78 at top speed. Based on the Draggy results and the racing we did, I think it's about 72. So I did have a little more top speed than the CFMOTO, totally irrelevant, and it's very impressive that CFMOTO, which is a new brand and is very cheap, is making a quad that's that fast. For 0 to 60 pull on my Can-Am, just get a good baseline. I'm gonna get up over the front so it doesn't wheelie as much. All right, check out how these RPMs climb. So I'm at 7,000 RPM before 50 miles an hour. Once I'm getting up to top speed, I'm around 8,000 RPM. This is with the XMR 1000 clutch weights. Now with the stock clutch weights, I really struggled to ever reach 7,000 RPM. I'll show you a clip with my stock clutch weights. This is the best clip I have, unfortunately, but it is really, really sad. I'm on a dirt road here, full throttle, winding it out, and watch how slow the RPMs are climbing. It was clutched so poorly from the factory. I'm having a hard time keeping the front end down, and my last run was beneath 8 seconds 0 to 60, and I'd like to say that was its true speed, so I want to make sure I can match it. I think I got a better system. So I get my weight up front like this, and I let it wheelie just a little bit, and the clutches love it. Sport mode, high range. All right, let's go. So that time I actually spun off the line, which is nuts. He had a four-wheeler ripping the tires loose on pavement in high range. That was 0 to 60 in 7.67. Oh boy, that's the ticket, a little bit of wheel speed. Now Jim, don't judge me too hard. I know these wheelies are a little sloppy, but I don't usually run tires this small, and I'm usually not on pavement. So I'm having to ride that rear brake a lot because it's trying to go over backwards the entire time.
There it is.
Look how sticky they are. I can feel them picking up rocks.
Oh yeah.
That smells good, huh?
Oh yeah.
I remember my times from last time. They're in a video, of course, but it's really hot out. I'm talking like over 100 degrees where we're sitting right here, and I'm running mid 7 seconds, 0 to 60 with no rollout on a quad on mud tires. Tell you what though, there's one thing, these tires suck. That is one of the worst pulling tires ever.
Tires are fucking
Look how fat these things are, and they still don't pull worth a damn.
right.
This crazy handlebar thing's tripping me out. In Florida, they want 18 or 19 grand for that machine. Yeah. So when you consider that this is twice as expensive, it doesn't make it makes it seem slower. Look at the wheelbase difference though. So I got them lined up. The front wheels are pretty much lined up in the center. That thing is pretty long, so that's a 2-up, right? So it looks like it's about 6 inches longer. I gotta look at all the specs on it. I haven't looked at the specs in a while. Oh yeah, that's gonna scrape. So it's got a really big beefy skid plate, but both the frame bars are underneath the diff instead of up on side the diff. This Gen 3 does a lot better job maximizing rear clearance. All right guys, here are the Draggy results for the CFMOTO 1000. It did a 0 to 60 in 9.73 seconds, very respectable. Their other splits are down there. This is 9.73 without subtracting any rollout, so there's no 1 foot subtraction here. Here is the 8th mile, 10.29 seconds to complete an 8th mile. Again, very respectable. I love the Draggy, it's great tech. If you want to talk about acceleration and you don't have Draggy numbers, I'm not going to talk to you. Your feelings are irrelevant, data is better. Okay, here is the XMR 850, 7.67 seconds, 0 to 60. That's a huge improvement over the stock clutch weights. And the 8th mile, we did it in 9.78 seconds. So we were under 10 seconds in the 8th mile with a basically stock quad that Can-Am calls an 850, which is obviously a 999cc. I'll show you the Excel chart now. All right, guys, here's the data. I'm going to go through this kind of fast so the video is not super long. That way people actually click on it. If you want to look at this longer, just pause the video. Here's the results for my XMR 850. This is what I'm most interested in from this data, is comparing the performance stock to the performance with the XMR 1000 clutch weights. So what I did was I put all the run data in here for the 3 runs at the end of the day, and then I've taken averages of those 3 runs to compare them to the new clutching, okay? Those averages are then subtracted down here to show you the delta in performance. So that's what this column down here is. This is what we're really going to talk about. So 60 foot didn't change much, 1/10 of a second, and that's because even with the old clutch weights, you were really just trying to keep the front tires on the ground for the first 60 foot. You're not full throttle. 0 to 30 improved by about 1/3 of a second, which I think is pretty significant. 0 to 60 is a really big improvement. We improved by 1.56 seconds. So we can get to 60 miles an hour 1.5 seconds faster than we could with the stock clutch weights. That is huge. If you're a car guy, you know how much mods and tuning it takes to get a 1.6 second decrease on your 0 to 60 time. Outstanding. 8th mile performance, the time decreased by 1/2 a second, also significant. And we're crossing the line at the 8th mile 3 miles an hour faster roughly than we were stock. So I think it is pretty obvious that you should put XMR 1000 clutch weights in your XMR 850. Feel free to argue with me. If you want to do that, by the way, I have a whole video on installing them, link in the description. Now here's what you guys probably want to see. Here's comparing different machines so you guys can dick measure and argue and whatever else you want to do. CFMOTO 1000, XMR 700, XMR 850 stock, XMR 850 with the clutch weights, and then the Highlifter 1000 on 33 Aztecs. Now this is pretty irrelevant. It's on 33-inch tires on 18-inch wheels, and the Highlifter 1000 is geared so low it can't reach 60 miles an hour. So it does a 0 to 30 in 2.45 seconds, which you can see is the same as my XMR 700 stock, but it's on 33-inch tires on 18-inch beadlocks. 18-inch beadlocks are a heavy wheel, so that's still pretty impressive. The XMR 1000 definitely punches off the line very well. CFMOTO, it did good. It has the best 60-foot. It's got a long wheelbase. It's got small tires, so a good center of gravity. It doesn't wheelie as much, so the 60-foot time is great. 30-foot time is really good too. It's actually pretty close to my XMR 850. Now, if you watch the videos, I pulled away from it in a couple of the races, but this is the best run that we recorded with the CFMOTO, and the 0 to 30 performance is pretty close to my Can-Am's average. 0 to 60 though, there's no comparison. The XMR 850 with the clutch weights totally dominates. 8th mile, it totally dominates, and 8th mile speed, it totally dominates. So the XMR 850 is crossing the 8th mile at 65 miles an hour, whereas the CFMOTO 1000 is only doing about 61. So pretty big difference there. Now, if you compare the stock XMR 850 to the CFMOTO, that's probably a closer comparison. But what we really need on this chart is we need the XMR 1000. So I'm really going to try to get Braden Price to get a Draggy so he can send me his data doing some 0 to 60 pulls with the new XMR 1000 that Jim just got. That'll be awesome to see. Once I get more information, I'll add this to the chart. If you have an ATV and you have a Draggy, feel free to send me your Draggy screenshots and I will update the chart. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching, especially if you watch the whole video. That really helps me with the algorithm. Please check and make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you like this stuff. It really helps me get promoted in the algorithm and helps me get more machines to make videos like this with, and I can give you guys more feedback and more data.